Asher and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Comes out descending, fall from the clouds of ignorance, pretending this need to enter.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest who has some killer music, and so let's welcome to his show, Tom from Ravenmocker. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Funny, too, while I was starting to do that, I was looking at my virtual background. I'm like, oh, do I have it on mirror mode? Your logo is cool. It's like kind of cool, like bookends wrapping around the name.
Yeah. It's actually our drummer decided that might be a cool little addition to the logo. So he actually was the inspiration behind the backwards R right at the end there.
And I think you almost need to do that nowadays. Because it's so hard nowadays with bands. I was just talking about that in the last interview, like the things that bands have to do to make their names stand out nowadays, because there's so many.
Yeah. Oh, you're so right about that. It's really easy to get lost in the mass of music coming out, and you gotta stand out somehow. Totally.
So tell our listeners who may not have heard of you or heard your music a little bit about Ravenmocker and, how it came about and how you view your music. Not like a genre, but like how you view it as an artist.
Yeah, sure. Well, again, thank you for having me. My name's Tom. I play guitar and sing in the band Ravenmocker. We are a melodic death metal band that derives a lot of influence from bands like Children of Bodom, Insomnium, Omnium Gatherum, more melodic stuff than your typical death metal. But obviously, I'm a huge fan of the death metal vocals, so that's the style I bring to the table as the vocalist. I guess the band started off. I've always used. I guess my own style of writing just as a kind of coping mechanism for the life we live nowadays, world's in peril, almost 100% of the time. And it's just a way I kind of get out of myself and allow myself to forget about all of that stuff. Professionally, as a musician, I played drums for bands for the last 18 to 20 years, but I wanted to do something different. So last year I came off of a tour supporting Arch Enemy, and I was like, you know what, I want to do something different. Like, I just had this feeling of wanting to do more, be more. I mean, on the tour, we did phenomenally. It was a great response to the music we brought, but I wanted to do something else. So I left that project, and I wound up just spending that summer writing. Pretty much everything you heard on the first two singles was done in this room. I got my electronic kit and my guitars right there. I just locked myself away in here for days at a time and just started trying to, I'm not the greatest guitarist in the world. Drums is really my primary instrument. So I wanted to allow myself to be challenged, but also, not worry so much about, dude, if you can't shred at like Malmsteen style speeds, like there's no disappointment in that as long as you're making good music. Yeah. So I just kind of, I locked myself in here, and I just tried to just let everything out. And I think we did a pretty good job from, releasing the first two singles this year. We've garnered almost 200,000 views on YouTube off of those two singles alone. And for being a brand new band, that's kind of like, that says a lot. We're proud of ourselves for that. Obviously that kind of sets the bar for the rest of what we do. So, we're far from taking a break, but we're trying to make every single song, every single quality of production a little better than the last time. And we just came out of the studio. Our drummer Dylan recorded I think the rest of the songs for the album. So I think it's like 10 or 11 songs. And we re-recorded the first two because he's been playing it now for almost a year, and he was like, I can do better. And we were like, all right, let's re-record the drums for Infallible and Where the Raven Flies. So needless to say, he plugged away on them, and they came out wonderful. But we're hoping the next songs that we drop over the next year or so, they're going to be really special. They're going to be something that fans can really appreciate and relate to. Don't get me wrong, I love my speed metal bands and stuff, but like, we wanted it to be accessible too. And I know, I don't really know what else to say about it.
That's good enough.
It's coming from the heart, and
that's all that counts.
Yeah. I think that's really, we're going to learn stuff about, our writing process and everything like that over the next year. So who knows where the next record may come out to, but I can tell you for sure, the guys in the band, they are so happy to be doing this and dedicated, and like, they put in the work, and it's never a hassle to get a rehearsal together. We're all very enthusiastic about like future production, how we want our live shows to look. And it's really a special thing working with all of them. It truly is.
I love hearing that too, because that's important. It's hard enough in the business you're in that it shouldn't be hard within the band. And the fact that, it's not hard and you're having fun and you're being real, that to me, that's what it's all about. And that's why you're getting that many, views and listens, is because, if you're real and you're being a true musician and not just somebody, trying to implement some formula, like it takes a lot of balls to go from drums to, singing and playing guitar. Now, and I my hat's off to you, because I played drums for 9 years when I was a kid, and I sucked, and I switched to guitar. I sucked at that. I sang thrash metal, sucked at that. So my hat's off to you, because it takes a lot of work. And the only reason I sucked is because I didn't put in the work, and also, a death metal singer that can do that. I mean, I don't think people realize. They think you're just screaming and how hard it is. That's why, I kind of suck, because I wasn't singing with the proper technique, and I was blowing out my voice by, not doing it the right way. Yeah. Kind of like, I look at Courtney in the Spirit Box as show, and I watch her mouth. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God, like that technique that I watch her have. I'm like, I'm so enamored with it, because it's like, holy shit, like, look at what she's doing. I don't even know if I could do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Vocals is such a new animal for me. I did vocals very briefly when I was living in New Jersey for a band, and we played a couple of shows here and there, but like, it wasn't long enough to really have to focus in on that technique. And I think watching artists like Phil Bozeman, Will Ramos, even Travis from Cattle, they have such unique approaches to their individual instrument, and I'm just trying to figure out how they go for the longevity that they do. And there's absolutely a technique, and like I think there's been like research done on some of these vocalists, because like people are wondering how do you get that tone, and then not only that, sustain it for like a month at a time, doing it for
like you're talking about Will. I mean, like, that blows my mind. I think my voice would be blown in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it comes down to purely like, we spend so much time just talking in our regular voice. I think there is depth that you can find, that it creates a different sound. And when you learn to get that far down, it just creates something new entirely. It's a phenomenal and very interesting subject for me, especially kind of like learning it in real time,
Well, I think Ali is a perfect example of why you need to have technique right from the beginning, because, he kind of changed because he couldn't do the deathcore anymore. The doctors were saying you won't have a voice ever, and I think that's from, not knowing the right technique from the beginning. And then you can learn it later, but then if you don't from the beginning, maybe there won't be a later sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. Another band that I've noticed that is Devil Wears Prada. I used to listen to them in high school and stuff like that. And you know, the singer Mike, he's definitely much better off from where he used to be. But maybe like 5-10 years ago, I noticed like he just couldn't deliver on stage. And like not talking shade on Devil Wears Prada. Those guys earned their spot, you know. But like I definitely noticed he was getting like really gassed during the performances. It's like, man, I can't allow myself to. You got to learn from other people, you know.
No doubt,
one way or another.
And it is a learned craft. Like people think that when you're doing the type of music you're doing, that they just get up and scream, and like that's why I'm focusing on this, because it take a lot of these really good singers could sing the mainstream stuff very well. Like you take Tatiana, you know.
Oh yeah, Ginger.
How she goes from that melodic voice to that brutal, you know, growl.
Yeah.
Like that's talent.
Oh, it's so impressive. It is so impressive. I the only reason I haven't started singing clean in the Ravenmocker stuff is because I haven't reached that point yet where I can comfortably do that. And it's something I'm going to have to challenge myself on eventually, because I do want that kind of accessibility in the Ravenmocker stuff. But at the same time, when I put it on a recording, I need to make sure that it's good. You know, like I don't want to put out something half-assed and then we go to play it midway through a set and they're just like, what is that? You know? Yeah. So it is so impressive that some of these vocalists, I mean, yeah, Tatiana, Spearpox again, Courtney does it like flawlessly, where she can just swap tones like that.
It blows my mind.
It's truly impressive. It really is.
I think people don't realize how hard it would be also to switch gears like that, like on a dime, you know?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, you mentioned like different people like Slayer, my favorite all-time ever band, but Tom can't hit the notes that he hit back in the early days, which means certain songs he'd never be able to sing today. You know, you take some of the older songs like I Am the Antichrist. He never would be able to hit that high note.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
You know, and that's why I always have a lot of respect for people that can have that longevity doing it. You know,
absolutely, yeah. And I think a lot of that comes with age too, you know, like we're not, you know, a lot of us, like time stops for nobody. And, you know, when you know, Metallica, they down tune their stuff now just for ease of making sure that Hetfield can sing it. But also at the same time, like, it's like, you know, they found a way to make sure that the fans still got that authentic experience, whether it's tuning down like a half step or a whole step, just to make sure that they can get that in the key that they're in now, you know? So I think you know, in dealing with the aspect of time and it having an effect on your voice and your performance, being able to account for that later on so the fans can get that experience is, I think, also part of the game.
Totally. And it's so funny you mentioned Hetfield, because I heard him recently talking about how, you know, when they play Seek and Destroy at the San Jose games, that they're playing the old version. He's like, why don't they play the version I do now? Because I can sing now. I sucked back then. And me, as an old school that was at their first show ever, like, I like his voice back then. Yeah. But I also, as an adult, understand if you're an artist, you would want to progress. Like when he started singing, he didn't have training or anything. He just sang. And now he does have training. So, you know, his singing is different, but it makes him happy, which would make everybody else happy.
Exactly. Yeah. When an artist is feeling it on stage, everybody feels it, you know?
Exactly. 100%. So tell everybody how they would reach out to you guys, check out all your music, gigs, merch, all that good stuff.
Well, as for our live shows, we just booked our first show at the Whiskey A Go Go, so that'll be a really cool place to start off our live career. we're out here in the Southern California area, so you can catch us anywhere in the surrounding area, Inland Empire, Long Beach, Los Angeles proper. We're going to be around here. As for our music, you can find us on any and all streaming platforms that you may use: Deezer, Spotify, iTunes, all of them. We're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, Facebook. You just got to search Ravenmocker, all one word. But yeah, we're around. Every day we're trying to get a little bigger. So
I love it.
Yeah,
are there any
more ears and stuff? Yeah.
Are there any final words you want to leave the listeners with that we haven't covered yet?
No, just a general thank you to everybody who's either just finding out about us or who may have heard of us through social media, our publicists. Thank you, Dean, for having me on this wonderful podcast and radio show. We're going to be releasing music steadily throughout the year. If the first 2 songs didn't really appeal to you, maybe some of the future stuff will. And if you like the first 2 songs, well, there's good news because we got more coming. So
I love it. Well, you guys rock, and everybody's got to check you out. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.